tattoo. Do everyone and everything to forget about you. Yeah. Every time I see you walking out my door, I wanna grab a frying pan and lay you out on the floor. That filth you talk, that stench just flies out of you. I should have listened, yeah, I should have. When you said you loved me, I should have picked up and ran. Grabbed my unicycle and rode to Japan. Hang out with some geisha girls, sing karaoke and get a tattoo. Do everyone and everything to forget about you. Yeah.
Okay, I think it's time to take the gloves off, don't you? I mean, here I've been talking rather politely, rather gently, telling people about, my opinion on things. And now I'm decided, I'm a little pissed off. Tell you what I really think about what's going on in the world today. I saw a couple stories, although those were really not the catalyst behind it. But I just decided to, let a few things out of the bag. First, before I start, I want to remind you that this is a call-in show. Anybody and everybody can participate. If you disagree with me, which I'm sure a lot of you will, you have the opportunity to call in and have your voice heard. Also, get your opinions out there if you are brave enough. That's one thing that we don't, that a lot, that, we tend not to do, is we kind of hide behind what we really think because it might damage us in the long run. Especially if we're talking about, your job or future employment. I've said this in the past. People peruse the internet. If you are perhaps a candidate for a position, first thing they do is they jump on the internet and they do a search for you. And they find some things that perhaps they don't like. I really don't give a shit. I really don't care. Yeah, I'm at the age that I really don't care what people think. And it's much better if you say what you think, because then people know who they're really dealing with. We're not hiding behind certain things. People are so fucking fake most of the time. Just say it. Say it in a tactful way, of course. But what you really believe, go ahead and say it. It's going to cause problems. Everything causes problems. You're going to offend somebody, and nobody has the right not to be offended. But so anyway, yeah, this is a live call-in show. There's a Discord. Feel free to join in the chat room. Also, we're streaming live on Twitch and on Facebook and on DLive and on Africa. Never heard of this place, but I figured, why not? We'll stream there, see what happens. So, but first, I want to take a look at a few stories here in the news. The concept of enforcing the social distancing rules are, vamping up. I said they would. I wrote an article saying that they would, and they are. They're also doing it passively. Also, I think it's in Washington State, in Seattle. Basically, they've closed down park benches so people can't sit there, or at least they make it rather uncomfortable for people to sit at a park bench. They put these, they nailed these things on the park benches. Apparently they were removed after some time, but it was try to keep people from sitting down. 4:28 p.m. That photo of a boarded up bench at it is Seattle, Alki Beach came in just as we heard about this new Keep It Moving action. From a reader whose name was John, who had emailed Seattle Parks to ask if Keep It Moving also meant to keep people from resting on benches, as he and his spouse do while out walking, or to stop parents or little kids from sitting on the bench while their children played, or perhaps old people who need to take a rest. It's awfully nice to have a bench to sit down there. But this just shows the idiocracy of what people are willing to do to try to enforce these idiotic stay-at-home rules. They haven't saved anybody. If you're going to get sick, you're going to get sick. Man up, woman up, face the facts. People are going to die. People always die. People die from the flu. People die from a bad tooth. People die from, something that gets stuck in your hand, a splinter, and gets infected and, poisons your heart. People are gonna die. Does that mean we need to destroy the global economy? Hell no. Bunch of pussies. We have this little story here about from Donald Trump. Trump says U.S. must reopen even if more Americans get sick or die. Just because we want to open up the economy again. getting people back to work doesn't mean we're evil. It means we are looking at things logically with a long-term perspective. People will die. People always die. People will get born. People are always born. This is a fucking cycle. It's not like we are wiping out the planet for God's sake, but yet that is what the media is portraying. That are the stories what we are hearing. And anytime a group of people go out to protest these stay-at-home rules, they're made to look like lunatics. Even the news reporter reporting on these, I just can't believe these people. They're putting everybody at risk by being out. No, they're exercising their God-given rights, if you believe in God. They're exercising your rights, their rights, that everyone is born with, that no piece of paper grants anybody. You're born with them. And they're exercising them, plain and simple. Don't you dare tell me to stay in my house. And don't you dare tell me that my job is not necessary. And don't you dare tell a business owner that he is running a non-essential business. His business is essential because it employs people, you dickheads. God, pisses me off to no end. Who the hell do these people think they are? I'll tell you who they think they are. They're much better than you. They sit higher than you. They're getting paid, whether they work or not, an ungodly amount of money, putting money into their pocket from this group or that group for their re-election campaign. They are not feeling any difficulty with this. It's the average person on the street they're the ones who are feeling this. Politicians don't give a fuck about what really happens because they're not connected to the real world. They're not. By any stretch of the imagination, they are not. You think otherwise? Do you think otherwise? If you do, I will tell you what you are. You're a statist. You're someone who cannot think for themselves. You are someone who has acknowledged that these people sitting upon high know more than you do. You have acknowledged that they have more power than you, that they are somehow more intelligent, that they have an inside track on something. They don't, and they're not. They're power-hungry megalomaniacs who have absolutely no connection what it's like to think about, I've got $20 left. Oh God. Okay, I got $20 left. What do I spend that on? Milk, bread, gasoline? I don't know, because I'm not going to get paid for another week and a half. What do I do with this money? What's the best way I can benefit from this? They don't think like that. They never will. But yet, a lot of people, American unemployment rate up to 14%, almost a quarter of the country is out of work. And they're not out of work because they're bad workers. They're out of work because the government forced their employer to shut the doors. And what did they do in return? They sent them $1,200. What the hell is that? No wonder people are freaking pissed off. And yes, I have said, if you're going to go to one of these protests that are protesting about closing the economy, stay-at-home rules, if you are one of those people, don't go to the protest with a gun, yeah? Because that's not what you're there to protest, okay? But I can understand that they're so pissed off that they take one. Someone's going to get shot at one of these protests, mark my words. Someone's going to get shot. And I will tell you this one thing. I trust more the man at a protest with a gun than a police officer at a protest with a gun. A police officer has immunity, and they are much quicker to pull that trigger than perhaps a neighbor of yours who's out at this protest who just happens to bring his gun with him. I trust him more than I do the cop. Absolutely. Does this piss you off? Does this situation piss you off? I mean, no matter what President Trump does, and I've said this time and time again, I don't support President Trump. I don't support any politicians. They're all liars and thieves, but I will call it out when I see it. And what I see is no matter what President Trump does, no matter what he does, if he shuts down the economy, he gets railed for it. If he endorses these stay-at-home rules, he gets raked over the coals. And then if he says, well, we need to open up America again, he gets raked over the coals. Or if he says, we should open these businesses, again, he gets destroyed by the media. No matter what this man does, he is fucking ripped apart. I call it as I see it. I call it as I see it. And the reason I see it that way is because I do not subscribe to only one branch of media, just left wing or just right wing. I look at Al Jazeera. I look at Israeli news. I look at BBC. I look at the Drudge Report. I look all over the frickin' place and get my information that way, not just from one side, which is a bad thing because, I mean, it's a common thing because that's what everybody does. I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. Boom. This is where I get my news. Bam. Whatever they say must be okay because, it sounds good to me and I agree with it. And oh my God, if they were ever to say something I don't agree with, then that means I have to challenge my own thought. Don't want to do that. Don't want to make me feel uncomfortable. Go with the flow. President Donald Trump, here's this little article here. President Donald Trump launched headlong into his push to reopen the country on Tuesday, saying Americans should begin returning to their everyday lives, even if it leads to more sickness and death from the pandemic. Damn straight. My God, whatever happened to American bravery? Ask yourself that question. What a bunch of fucking pussies. Oh, I might get sick. Yeah, you might get sick. Oh, I might die. Yeah, you might die walking across the street, you pansy. Trump, speaking in Phoenix during his first trip outside Washington in more than a month, said he's preparing for phase 2 of the U.S. response to the coronavirus. That will include disbanding the White House task force of public health experts, including a couple people, that have steered the government's response to the outbreak so far. Trump acknowledged that reopening the economy would likely lead to more suffering. Will some people be affected? Yes. Some people will be affected. Oh, will some people be affected badly? Yes, Trump said. But we have to get our country open, and we have to get it open soon. That's right. I don't care if you don't want to hear it. People are going to die. People were always going to die. People will always die. That is the nature of life. Can you guys hear the birds outside? Nice day. Probably heard my dogs barking out there too. It's the nature of things. People are going to die. And again, if you agree with these stay-at-home orders, shutting down the economy, shutting down businesses, you're a socialist, you're a communist, and you're a statist. You are taking away people's personal freedom for your false sense of security. That's what you are, plain and simple. No, you're not thinking about this long term. You're thinking about it only from your side. You're a pussy. And I hope that offends somebody. Okay. I don't know. Okay. On another topic, Bill Gates. Boy, Bill Gates is really getting destroyed with this. Yeah, Bill Gates is always, he has his Gates Foundation. They're out there, different countries offering immunization for different diseases. He basically at one point said that we should not open up anything until we find an immunization for this disease. Not once thinking about perhaps herd mentality, about getting someone exposed to it, getting them exposed to it, have their body do its work. Yeah. But that's not what I want to talk about. Well, what I want to talk about is Bill Gates' eye in the sky. Bill Gates backs real-time global satellite surveillance network. Wow. For those of us who increasingly feel like there's no place on Earth to be free from prying eyes, a new announcement from some deep pockets tech investors appear to ensure humanity that global surveillance from orbit is coming, and soon. On Wednesday, Earth Now, a startup that hopes to provide satellite imagery and live video in real time using a constellation of satellites orbiting the Earth, announced its decision to become a commercial business. Investors include Airbus, the SoftBank Group, wow, Bill Gates, and Greg Weiler. Go away. Real-time surveillance. And what I had read is that we're talking a delay of 1 second. Although the initial investment amount has not been revealed, the company announced that funding will focus on providing innovative and unique real-time Earth observation services. The service could provide information on storm monitoring, natural disasters, and illegal fishing vessels, just to name a few applications, which of course include pervasive global surveillance. So, make you feel good? Make you feel good? Weiler, a U.S. tech entrepreneur and investor in Earth Now, has already deployed satellites beaming broadband as part of his OneWeb satellite constellation project. The goal of the project is to eventually deploy around 900 satellites to offer for-profit global internet services by 2019. Okay? Earth Now plans to use OneWeb's technology to equip each satellite with an unprecedented amount of onboard processing power, including more CPU cores than any other commercial satellites combined. The satellites will also use machine learning to analyze live imagery, although the company does not reveal exactly what the satellites will be analyzing. According to Earth Now CEO Russell Hennigan, the total system will cost around $1 billion. SoftBank alone has contributed $1.5 billion into OneWeb. Gates has not revealed how much he will contribute to the project. In addition, Airbus will be responsible for manufacturing the actual satellites in its Tulsa and Florida facilities, although it's unclear how many satellites will be built. Okay, global surveillance coming just to you around your corner. Now, who is going to be, apparently this is supposed to be used for private? This is bullshit. This is not going to be private. The government's going to get their hands on this. And they are going to use it for everything that the government uses their power for. Bad things. Prying into the lives of free people. This is a bad thing, of course, with everything that's been happening. Of course, more and more people are working from home. We have found more and more problems and security flaws with popular video conferencing software such as Zoom. WhatsApp is a security nightmare. Telegram itself is not much better. They're all being spied upon. That is a fact. That is true. None of them are secure. Blockchain-based, perhaps, messengers are the most secure out there. But depending on how the public key infrastructure is done, the most crucial part of setting up end-to-end encryption And, while I'm on the subject, while I'm on the subject, end-to-end encryption, it might make you feel safe, give you a nice warm fuzzy feeling inside when you see that your messages are now protected with end-to-end encryption. But the way that this end-to-end encryption is set up and handled is the same way it's been done since the 1970s. Nothing has changed. All we have done is added extra layers of protection on an inherently flawed system. It is inherently flawed. There's a few companies that have found a way to solve it. But they are up against a huge monopoly. Facebook. Yeah, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp Messenger. So it's really difficult for them to break out. But it is out there. There are out there. A very few. But getting back to what I really want to talk about is the stay-at-home rules. I guess I just heard that a woman, I can't remember where she was. She opened up her hair salon, was busted because, she opened it up, which went against the stay-at-home rules. I guess her business is non-essential. Who are these people? Again, who are these people to say that your business is non-essential? Who the hell are they? They're not geniuses. Politicians are not geniuses. They are not any better or smarter than you or I. They're power-hungry megalomaniacs. That's what they are. They don't live in the real world, and they make decisions that affect the people who do live in the real world. And time again, we look at them for solutions. We beckon for them to please help us when they are the ones who put us in this situation to begin with. I'll thank you, slave master, for only beating me 4 times this time. Yeah, we're going to take away your livelihood, and then we're going to send you a check for $1,200. And they expect us to be grateful for that. And the statists out there are saying, well, the government does care. Look what they're doing. They're sending everybody in America $1,200. And now they're setting up this special program that will help small businesses to pay their paychecks. Well, that's all bullshit. I read a story about that yesterday. I think we talked about that yesterday. What, 20%? Was it 20%? You have to go back and take it. 22% actually were approved for this. It gives them something to do. That's all. And who knows what else was in that? Yeah? That's the thing. They will pass something that on the surface, and they'll give it a really nice sounding name too. Yeah? Bailout for local businesses, for small businesses. Oh, that's nice. But inside of that bill or new law or rule that they passed is poison. And of course, nobody knows about it. Nobody reads it. They don't even fucking read the bills that they pass. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I'm putting myself out on a limb here, and I'm challenging. If you agree with these stay-at-home rules, you're a fucking Nazi. Bam. If you're going to give a group of people the power and the weaponry and the support behind their back to force people to stay inside, to force businesses to close their doors, then you're a statist. You are no better than the people supporting the stormtroopers or the Stasi or the KGB. You're no better. And you're not thinking clearly. And you're not thinking long term. You're thinking that personal freedom is bullshit. People can't have it. It shouldn't be allowed. That's what you're thinking. That's what you're saying when you support these draconic rules. People shouldn't be allowed to be free. And if that's what you really think, then say it. Say it. If you're an American, damn it, you better say it. America, home of the free, except these people they shouldn't be allowed to be free. Quit hiding behind things and have the balls to come out and really say it and really face what you are supporting. Look at the mirror and say, yes, I support forcing people to stay in their house. I support that. I support the government who is enforcing that. You're just like the Gestapo. And I hope that makes you feel bad. Or actually better, I hope it opens your eyes a little bit. Boy, I guess I really am in support of that type of dictatorship. The thing that America claims to fight against around the world. Dictatorships. Of course, we all know, anybody who knows anything, anybody who's read any history knows that Americans love dictators. At least the American government loves dictators because they like to put them in place. Just as long as the dictator does what America wants, that's great and dandy. They'll help put him in place. They'll arrange a coup. Throw the democratically elected president or ruler out of the country and input their own dictator. It's happened before. It will happen again. And perhaps it just happened in Venezuela. Not quite sure yet, but that news is fairly fresh. So, anyway, just wanted to get it out there. If you disagree with me, let me know. Let me know. Have the balls to stand out and say, yeah, I disagree with you, and this is why. And then don't feel bad when I, expose you for what you really are. Because you are. Okay. Put myself out there. Here we go. We'll see what happens. Okay. So, until next time, take care.